It's the Eagle Community Television Forum with your host, Gary Shorman.
Hello, I'm Mike Kerner in for Gary Shorman this week on The Forum. The Forum brought to you by Hayes Med. Our guest today, Charlene Nichols. And Charlene is the Assistant Alumni Director. I want to make sure I get that right because you do more than just assist to the Alumni Director. You do things, you've got so many programs you work on and a lot of stuff. We'll get to all that, but I want to talk to you here in the first part of the show. In the first part of the show, I want to talk to you about what the Alumni Association is. Okay. Second half of the show, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about homecoming festivities. They're coming up.
They are.
And you help put a lot of that stuff together.
I do.
So we'll talk about that. First off, Alumni Association, Fort Hays State University. I get this question to me all the time. Why should somebody join?
Well, we like to say that people should join the Alumni Association because everything that the Alumni Association does is about strengthening Fort Hays State, and it's in support of the alumni and friends of the university. So, you know, I think we do a lot more programming than people realize. Not only do we do homecoming, of course that's the big thing that people think of when they think of us, but you know, we honor our alumni and friends and students with awards throughout the year, from homecoming awards for our alumni achievement, the Elite Award, all the way through to commencement with the Torch Award, which has been going on since 1974-ish. That goes to the outstanding graduating senior. We have an award for the outstanding faculty member as chosen by the graduating senior class. And we have a new one actually that we're introducing this year. That's the Lighthouse Award, and it's going to be for an outstanding graduate student. That's a class of students that we hadn't recognized before, so we're excited to do that. You know, we are the hub that connects the alumni and friends of the university to the university. So we're always putting out communications, whether it's email, e-newsletters. We have a whole host of social media. We help with and have several pages in each issue of the Roar magazine. So we're always trying to make sure that the university's alumni and friends understand what's going on with the university and keep them in touch. And of course, we have a whole host of events that we host throughout the year, not just homecoming, not just at commencement, but across the state and beyond. We have gatherings, again, to bring Fort Hays State to people in their local communities.
I know that there's a lot of times people say, what does Fort Hays Alumni Association do for me? But you know, me as an alum too, I try to tell people that it's a great networking tool too. Mm-hmm. If you're part of that, the Alumni Association, there's graduates you can get in touch with. Maybe you own a company and you want to look for somebody that's a great worker. You could probably find some great employees through that. Or if you're looking for a job, it's a great networking tool to maybe find a job, because there's a lot of very powerful people that came through Fort Hays that are now business owners.
Absolutely, and we hope to continue to expand that offering. But certainly we had a mentoring program last year. We'll have it again for the next academic year. We're retooling it for this year. But you know, that's another way for employers to have an opportunity to get to know some of the best and brightest students on our campus and to work with them individually. And it's a great tool for the students to have a better understanding of what, you know, expectations will be when they get out into the workforce. So we're looking forward to having that up and running again for next year.
And also, I know a lot of people that just want to keep in touch with people. It's like Facebook, but on a smaller level, because it's more of a family Facebook.
Absolutely. You know, it's so much fun when we post different things on our Facebook page or other social media channels. We're on LinkedIn, we're on Twitter, but Facebook is really where we see a lot of the interaction between people. Whether it's an old picture of campus. Here's what campus looked like before there was Forsyth Library and Davis Hall, which is now, of course, coming down, but before the Union had been expanded or whatever. To guess what? The Tigers are ranked for the first time ever in this particular poll. How cool is that? And just the interactions that you see, people sharing it with, you know, their friends and family on their Facebook pages, making comments on our Facebook page. It's really a neat way to see how those Tigers connect with each other.
And I'm sure you've done this already, but I sent out some pictures to friends of mine about the demolition of Wiest Hall, and
yes,
when I was running the other day over there, and they're all excited about the new building. They
right,
want to know what's going to be happening in that place,
right,
and that's one of the things that you know, a lot of people really have a lot of memories of the old
mm-hmm,
building, but they also want to to know what's happening, what's going to be happening new on campus. And it's not just that area, but there's a lot of great things that happen on campus every day that we need to share to the alum.
Absolutely, and that's one of our biggest goals really, is to make sure that all of our alumni and friends, at least those that, here's always our problem, not everyone always shares their most current contact information with us. So as long as we know where they are and have an email address for them, they should be very well informed as to what's going on with Fort Hays State, because we're always sending out that kind of information to folks. And if you have a friend who's not getting that information, it's probably because we don't have current contact information for them.
So just let them know about that. If they'd like to get that information, you know a friend out there that would like to get that information, go ahead and get a hold of the Alumni Association and let them update their files, or let your friend know to call them and update the file.
Absolutely.
Well, that's some of the stuff I wanted to talk about in the first half of the show. I wanted to talk about what the Alumni Association does. Also want to talk about some of the stuff that you do, Charlene, on campus at for the Alumni Association, and I guess not just Alumni Association, you do a lot of other things too.
I feel like I do.
You do?
Well, so, you know, one of the things that I'm most proud of personally, I guess, and is Tiger Gold on Friday. That's something that came from one program that we have that I also help with is the Tiger Generational T-shirt project, and that's modeled on something that several universities have done. I think Notre Dame is the most famous for it, but having a T-shirt that people wear throughout the year, it changes every year. There's a different design. Of course, we have this year's on sale now, starting at $14, and it features several of the old Tigers on a gold shirt. But when we were doing that first focus group for that project, just seeing if people would even be interested in buying a T-shirt, we had students, faculty, staff, and alumni as part of that focus group. And they all were kind of bemoaning the fact that there seemed to be so few opportunities to really show your Tiger pride when you're on campus. And so we kind of bounced around some ideas. Mary Martin was a board member at that time, and she's a friend of mine, and so we kind of talked about it afterwards, and Tiger Gold on Friday, just that name kind of came up between the two of us, and I happened to have been on the university marketing committee as it was at that point. And I kept bringing it up until we finally actually made it happen. So, and Eagle has been a huge part of that and a sponsor from the beginning, and so we certainly appreciate that. But
and we still see it to this day. It still goes on. So, and I think it's got its own feet, and it still keeps moving along.
Absolutely.
Also, you were a part of the team that helped bring back. Well, it was in place already, but kind of worked on making things happen with the bonfire.
Right, when I started in this position in 2009, it had been decided that the bonfire would happen, but it was still very preliminarily, in the very preliminary stages of being planned. So I kind of stepped in and as the Tigers Forever, it was called Tigers for Life then, but our Student Alumni Association advisor at the time, I helped to kind of lead the charge on that and did that for several years. But Jeanette Mice in our office is now the advisor for that group, and she's running things, and they're doing some cool things with that.
And then, like your day-to-day job, what are your day-to-day tasks? I know it's probably lengthy, but give us a little 15, 20 seconds of it.
Well, I feel like all duties as assigned, right? As they say at the bottom of a job description. But I do kind of have my hands in almost everything that the Alumni Association does. I don't do very much with the legislative affairs, thank goodness. And I don't really update our database or get too involved with finances, but especially anything that's communications, marketing, events, all of those things, I typically have a hand in some way, shape, or form.
That's your gig at the university.
That is my gig at the university.
Well, thank you for talking to us. Second half of the show, I want to get into the nuts and bolts of the homecoming, because it is like right on the doorstep to us.
It is.
So Fort Hays homecoming coming up. We'll talk about some of those activities and some of the deadlines with Charlene Nichols here in just a moment on the forum. I'm Mike Kerner in for Gary Shorman.
Hays Med is your first and best choice for healthcare. They're the only facility providing tertiary level services in this region. With more than 70 physicians and 26 specialties ranging from heart, orthopedic, spine care, cancer, obstetrics and gynecology, wound care, rehabilitation and surgery, including the Da Vinci robotic surgery, Hays Med is your comprehensive health provider for people throughout Western Kansas. Hays Med, helping people be healthy.
Are you frustrated with Wi-Fi dead zones in your home? It happens when you don't have Boost, the cutting-edge Wi-Fi solution from Eagle Communications. The Boost-certified Eagle technician maps your home, then installs a dual-band modem and router, plus discrete access points to deliver wall-to-wall Wi-Fi with no dead zones. Boost powers all your family's devices in all the places you love to live. Get Boost. Wi-Fi made simple. Only from Eagle Communications. Call today.
You're watching The Forum, brought to you by Hayes Med. I'm Mike Kerner in for Gary Shorman this week. By the way, Gary would love to see some show ideas. If you've got some, just go gary.shorman@eaglecom.net. And this week our guest is Charlene Nichols, Assistant Alumni Director at Fort Hays State University. We're talking homecoming weekend, which is right upon us, Charlene.
It is.
And a lot of people have these specific events that they love at Fort Hays State University, whether it be the football game, the parade, or just meeting friends that they haven't seen for a while.
Well, typically, you know, when people, most of our alums, when they talk about homecoming, it's interchangeable with Oktoberfest. And I have to say that's the one event that I never get to make it to, unfortunately. So save me a beer rock if you're down there.
Okay, if I can find one. By the time I get over there, they're typically out too.
But so yeah, we're looking forward to it. October 5th through the 7th are our activities. The Alumni Association is involved in some way, shape, or form with about 22 activities over that 3 days. So let me tell you, by the time the football game happens, I am ready to just crash.
Well,
it's a long weekend.
Well, we can go by. I mean, you said it starts on Thursday the 5th.
It does.
And there's the golf tournament that starts on Thursday.
Yes. That's sold out already. It has been sold out for a couple of weeks. We've been very fortunate with that. We'll have golfers from across the state come in. And but we are adding something fun for that. In addition to the actual golf teams, there'll be 40 some of them golfing. We also are adding a luncheon. We have a silent auction that we do during the golf tournament as well. That raises funds for local area scholarships, as does the golf tournament. But to raise even more money, we've added a silent auction. And this year, Chris Brown, our head football coach, is going to come out and give a talk at lunchtime, so people can come out just for lunch, check out the silent auction items if they'd like, but have lunch with Chris.
They're going to watch film too?
I don't think so.
Okay.
We're hoping to ask Chris some questions, you know, different than tell us how you're recruiting.
Sure.
I mean, that'll be part of it, but maybe some other things too, just to get a different side of Chris and his time here at Fort Hays.
Well, in the evening on Thursday night, bonfire. We talked about that first part of the show. Pep rally, bonfire.
Right.
It's a great event if people haven't been to it. There's also s'mores usually.
There are s'mores. The folks from Intramurals bring s'mores, bring fire pits over and make s'mores. But we also have several food trucks. This has just happened in the past couple days. There are going to be several food trucks coming. I think they'll be lined up in the Gross Memorial Coliseum parking lot. And so if you haven't had a chance to have dinner, you can grab some food out there. I think maybe some barbecue, some German food. So maybe I'll get my beer rock fix then, I guess.
There you can. I guess it'd be right there across from your office.
I might be able to do it then.
On Friday, it looks like the Half Century Club and Luncheon and induction. Of course, the Oktoberfest, which you talked about, you don't have a chance to make. So that's some of the stuff that happens on Friday. Also, there's Campus Walking Tour. I think is fantastic because there's so many new things always happening, and I really think that people need a chance to walk and talk and learn about the campus and all the changes that typically happen.
Right.
We can talk about some reunions. There's a lot of reunions.
We have
what do those folks do?
Several reunions. Well, it depends on what they want to do, right? I mean, we let the reunion hosts kind of guide us into what they'd like to do. I think the most active reunion this year is what we're calling our Greek reunion, and it's the three houses that are, or the three chapters that are going into the new Tiger Village.
Have they moved in yet?
They are moved in,
okay,
yes.
Good.
They moved in for the beginning of this year. But there is a dedication that weekend, Saturday morning. But so that's Delta Zeta sorority, Tri Sigma sorority, and Sigma Phi Epsilon fraternity. So those three groups have some joint activities, a couple receptions, a tailgate. But then each of them is having their own breakfast Saturday morning before the dedication. And I believe they're all going to have national officers here as part of that big celebration. So that's fun for them.
That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we have. Volleyball reunion. We also on Saturday, we're moving to Saturday now. Looks like there's the alumni run walk, the 5K. That starts up at 8 o'clock in the morning.
You could probably tell me more about that than
I could probably tell you about it. I really, some years we get a lot of people at that, some years we don't. I really like it the years we get a lot. It's just a lot of fun.
Right.
And people have, no matter how fast you can run or slow you run, just have fun.
Or if you walk.
Yes, and there is a walk this year that's been added.
There
It's a little later in the
There's a
morning.
different walk, right? So people can walk the 5K if they want to do that. But there's also the Family and Friends Fun Walk that we're calling it. It's a 1-mile walk around the quad. And that will be a little later in the morning. And that's led by Victory Tiger, the kids who participate. It's really meant for families, right? So kids who participate will get balloons. There'll be cheerleaders there doing tattoos. We look to have other different stations, pom-poms, and just fun activities and a nice walk around the quad.
And one of the things that you helped
Not
come up
timed.
with, exactly. And one of the things that you helped come up with was the virtual one too. If there's somebody
Right.
that wants to sleep in, or for the virtual college students, or maybe all across the globe, they want to be a participant in this too. They can be.
Well, I mean, the most interesting one, our first year that we did that, we had someone do actually a 10K, and he was in, I believe it was Thailand, and he actually took made a video for us of his 10K run. That was so cool. But even this year, we have people from both coasts. So, coast to coast, we have people who've signed up, several in Kansas, some even from Hayes who can't be here for the live run, or again, maybe overindulging in Oktoberfest. I don't judge. But so that's been a neat way to engage different community too.
That'll be great.
Yeah.
Also, looks like moving down here, the parade at 1 o'clock downtown
parade at 1
Hayes.
o'clock,
That's always
right.
fantastic.
Well, and what I would like to tell you about that is that this year's parade marshal is another new thing from the Fort Hays Alumni Association, and that is the Alumni Honorary Family of the Year.
So a whole family.
So a whole family will be the parade marshals. Dr. Tompkins will be in the parade car too, but it is the Milton Marty Doherty family. They have Tigers going back from the very beginning of the days of the university to current students today. So they've got 5 generations of Tigers in their family. And so we're really excited to have them come back. This is the first time we've done this, and we look forward to having that as an annual part of homecoming festivities.
And then at 8 o'clock, it looks like the football game, which is kind of the finale,
Right.
the finale. There's other little things that are going on, but it's kind of the finale of the whole weekend, right?
Right, that is. And we look forward to knocking off the Pittsburgh State Gorillas
Very good.
that day.
Well, thank you for coming in and talking about this.
Absolutely.
Real quick, website where they could go to if they want to see this agenda online.
GoFortHaysState.com/homecoming.
Okay, very
Okay.
good. Thanks for coming in and
All right.
talking to us.
Thank you,
Charlene
Mike.
Nichols, Assistant Alumni Director, Fort Hays State University. Hopefully you have a chance to attend one or many of the activities at this year's Fort Hays State University homecoming. I'm Mike Kerner in for Gary Shorman this week. The show brought to you by Hayes Med. It's a forum. Again, thanks for joining us.
It's a beautiful day in our super high-speed internet great customer service neighborhood. Like you, this is where we live. In fact, our company is employee-owned, so it's our goal to improve the quality of life for everyone in our community by delivering faster, more reliable internet, clearer, more feature-laden phone service, quality TV channels, all with the level of customer service you'd expect from people who are your neighbors. Eagle Communications. Our community connected.